For the first assignments on page 13, most of you do it like this way. Say that the hydrogen carbonate inside the tablet reacts with water. So you just write down reacts with water and then gives out carbon dioxide. So I don't know why such concept is in your mind. For example, some of you will write down like this way: hydrogen carbonate and then adding H2O, then it will becomes OH minus and then CO2 and then something etc. So actually it is wrong. The thing is, it is wrong just because HCO3 minus will not react with water. It will just dissolve in water, but not react with water. So it's just dissolve. That means the hydrogen carbonate dissolves in water totally. As a result, how can we answer? Actually, the tablet, when this tablet dissolves into the water, you can find there are sodium hydrogen carbonate, citric acid. When the citric acid dissolves in water, that means H plus AQ presence. The H plus AQ dissolves in water and then acid reacts with the hydrogen carbonate to becomes H2O and CO2 instead. If it is in solid form, that means it is the solid citric acid. When the citric acid is in solid form, it can't react just because it is a kind of solid. But if it is dissolved into the water, H plus AQ presence, then it will react with the hydrogen carbonates to become H2O and then CO2. That is effervescence occur. So that's why effervescence occur when we drop it into the water. So the answers I will show here. The answer mentioned that when the citric acid is in the tablet dissociate, that means dissolve in water to give hydrogen gas, hydrogen ions. So the main point is it needed that hydrogen ions given out first, and then the hydrogen ions will react with the hydrogen carbonate. The hydrogen carbonate is not reacting with the water, but reacting with the hydrogen ions. So continues, the sodium hydrogen carbonate also dissolves in water to becomes hydrogen carbonate ion, and then they react with each other. The hydrogen carbonate and then the acid H plus react will give out H2O and CO2. Then the second thing is about the expected observation asking and the chemical or ionic equation for these three reactions. So if you remember, for me, I've told you that you need to remember the ionic equations or use the ionic equations to think. As a result, when saying react with dilute sulfuric acid, actually the saying react with acid, which is H plus, and then it will give out H2, and then saying 2 plus will be given out. So what is the observations then? It is the same granules dissolve. You may say the same granule dissolves. It disappears just because the same 2 plus is in aqueous form. Or you may say, oh, gas bubbles given out. The gas bubble given. So why? Just because H2 given this time. So if you think about all the forms or all the states of the chemicals, then you can get the answers. The second one is about the dilute nitric acid adding to solid copper 2 carbonate. I find that some of you write down no reaction, but what's wrong there? Some of you say no observable change, no reaction. So this is wrong. Why? Let's take a look and think it. the copper 2 carbonate, actually it is not copper, it is the copper 2 carbonate. That means the carbonate will react with the acid instead of the copper 2 ion. The copper 2 ion will not react, but the carbonate will react with the acid to become CO2. Once again, the copper 2 carbonate, originally it is solid and then it is dissolved. So you may say the copper 2 carbonate dissolved, and then the copper 2 solution, originally it is in aqueous acid only, the nitric acid solution. So the solution and then change from colorless to blue. The blue color actually is from the copper 2 solution, copper 2 AQ, copper 2 plus and then AQ there. Last but not least is about the gas formed. So you may say there is some carbon dioxide gas formed, but you can't see the carbon dioxide gas. Actually, the efflorescence, you can't see what kind of gas there. So this is not the observable change. So you can't see the CO2 gas given out. You may say gas bubbles given. So you may say gas bubbles given. So we can have three answers. These three is the correct one. Now we can see a movie which is about here.
Is a metal combined with carbon and oxygen, like copper carbonate, calcium carbonate. You can take hydrochloric acid, calcium carbonate, beaker, and a matchbox. Take some calcium carbonate in the beaker. Add hydrochloric acid to it. A gas is formed and released.
Now, actually, can you see the gas bubbles forms? But can you identify what is it? Carbon dioxide? No, you need to use another test. But you can't see it is labeling as carbon dioxide. We just can see it is some gas bubbles form. We don't know whether it is carbon dioxide or not. So that's why I need to tell you. You can't say, although you know that it is CO2 gas given out, just because calcium carbonate adding acid, it will give out carbon dioxide and then H2O. But we can't say this carbon dioxide gas given out. We just say gas bubbles given out. Okay? So, next to it. For question B, some of you do it very well. Actually, you do like this way, nitric acid, and then copper 2 carbonate, and then it will becomes copper nitrate, H2O, and then CO2. But some of you didn't balance the equation. Why? Just because copper 2 carbonate actually is this one, but not the original written one, copper 2 nitrate, not this one. Actually, you need to bracket it, and then so you need to balance it by balance the 2 HNO3 instead. As a result, some of you lose mark here. So pay attention to those ions charge to balance it. For the final one, which is the dilute hydrochloric acid and then solid sodium hydrogen carbonate. So sodium hydrogen carbonate react with acids. Once again, it will become sodium ion and then H2O and CO2. Most of you do it very well in this question, so you just say gas bubble given out, that's correct. So here is the answer for these three questions.